Hey everyone, and welcome. If you are a licensed beauty professional in Kentucky, you need to listen up because a new law just dropped that you've absolutely got to know about. So let's break down exactly what's changed and, more importantly, what it all means for you. So yeah, a new law has just totally changed the way rules get interpreted in our industry. And that brings up the big question. Are you prepared? Don't worry, stick with me for the next few minutes, and I promise, by the end of this, you will be. All right, first up, Section 1, Your World of Rules. Now, before we can really dig into what's new, we've got to do a super quick refresher on the legal framework that you're already working inside of every single day. Think of your professional world as having 3 layers of rules. At the very top, you have the big picture laws coming straight from the legislature. Those are the Kentucky Revised Statutes, or KRS for short. Then, to make those laws actually work for our industry, agencies like the Board of Cosmetology create specific rules. We call those the Kentucky Administrative Regulations, or KAR. And finally, there's agency enforcement. That's all the day-to-day stuff like licensing, inspections, and discipline that the board handles. Okay, now that we've got the basics down, let's jump into Section 2. We're going to rewind a little bit and look at the old way, how things worked in court before this new law came along, especially when there was a dispute over a rule. The key idea here was something called judicial deference. Sounds fancy, but it's pretty simple. Think of it this way. The court is the referee, and a state agency like the board is the league office. In the past, if a rule was kind of fuzzy or unclear, the referee, the court, would pretty much just go with the league office's interpretation. The agency's opinion carried a ton of weight. And that's really the main thing to remember about the old system. Before SB 84, courts could just defer to an agency's interpretation. They didn't have to figure it all out on their own. And what this meant, in reality, was that the board's opinion on a rule was often the final word in any legal dispute. Which brings us to Section 3, the new law, SB 84. Yep, this is the game changer we've been building up to. Starting in 2025, Senate Bill 84 completely changes how courts review what state agencies do. Now, I know this sounds like a pretty technical change for the legal system, but trust me, it has a major ripple effect that impacts every single one of you. This slide shows the change perfectly. Before, the agency's interpretation was super influential. Now, after SB 84, that's gone. Courts must interpret the law on their own, without giving any special weight or automatic deference to the agency's opinion. That is the core shift right there. So, to put it as simply as possible, the power to interpret the law when there's a dispute has shifted. It now rests solely and independently with the court. Okay, I know this sounds like a huge change, and you might be sitting there wondering if you need to completely overhaul everything you do. Well, let's get into Section 4, because the answer is probably not what you're thinking. So this is the most important takeaway, and I want you to really hear this. SB 84 did not change your daily compliance responsibilities. Let me say that again. Nothing about your required practices or your day-to-day work has changed because of this law. Your licensing requirements, the specific rules you follow, like KRS 317A and KAR 12, board inspections, and even the disciplinary processes, all of that is exactly the same. So when it comes to your daily work in the salon or spa, nothing has changed. So with that reassurance in mind, let's move into our final section. Your proactive compliance plan. This is all about how you can get clarity with confidence in this new landscape. This kind of begs the question, right? If the agency's interpretation isn't the final word in court anymore, what's the gold standard way to get answers if you're ever looking at a rule and feeling a little unsure about it? Here is your simple 3-step plan. Step 1, for your normal day-to-day questions about licensing or schools, always start by emailing the Kentucky Board of Cosmetology. They're still your go-to. Step 2, if you don't get a response, or maybe you have a broader legal question, reach out to the Attorney General's office. And Step 3, if you just need the official wording of a law, you can contact the Legislative Research Commission, or LRC. They keep all the official records. You see, understanding this new landscape and knowing who to ask for help, it just proves that compliance isn't about fear. It's about professionalism. It's about taking ownership of your craft and your business. So the final question I'll leave you with is this. With this new clarity and a clear plan for getting answers, how will you elevate your professional compliance? Thanks for joining me for this explainer.